Welcome back to another discussion video of our literature for English 1302. This particular focus is on A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. This particular piece is a little bit different than some that most people have come into contact with, because while it certainly does tell a lovely story of Miss Emily Grierson and the various intricacies of the character, it offers up a really morbid conclusion to the piece when we find not only that there's a dead, decomposed body almost mummified in her house, in her bed, but there's a clear indication that she had been sleeping with this particular individual for quite some time. For this discussion, I really want to look for a moment at the overall focus of this particular piece, because it's really easy to get caught up in the various tools and techniques that are taking place within it, and of course the very morbid ending of it. But one thing I'd like to point out that's really unique about this, and certainly a testament to Faulkner's skill and awareness of the society that he's within, is that you have Miss Emily Grierson, who is basically an individual whose life is framed through stories, hearsay, gossip throughout the community. People will tell stories about different interactions that she's had with people, different involvements. People feel that she is this individual that can't be directly approached, talked to, conversed with, that she's this austere member of society that requires a certain degree of deference and respect. However, at the same time, rather than actually getting to know the character all that well, getting to know Miss Emily and understand her, be her friend, spend time with her, help her out hands-on, a lot of people would prefer to talk and have a lot of hearsay in the background about what's going on. The ending is probably the best example of this, because if we get to the ending portion of it, when we look at Homer Barron's presence in the end, and the comb, the bed, hairs, everything of that sort, nobody really understands why he's present within it, or if for certain it's actually him. They don't know she got married. They don't know anything that's going on within that household. And yet there were indications the whole time that there was a problem going on. I mean, imagine, how bad was the smell of him decomposing within that home? It's not a situation that takes that long to really wrap your head around. Decomposition's fast. The smells were so pervasive that they felt it necessary to place lime all across the yard, in the basements, anywhere they could get their hands to, just to bury the smell. I mean, that's the equivalent of taking an air freshener out and spraying it in the air, hoping that you can get rid of, the smell of an animal or a smell of something that's distasteful, and all you're really kind of do is mixing the two smells together. They knew there was this absolutely just horrid smell, and they decided to cover it up and use rumors and guessing, as opposed to actually moving forward with any sort of real understanding of what's taking place within the household. Look at the acquisition of the poison. She acquires arsenic. She wants arsenic from the pharmacist. The pharmacist asks her, "What do you need this for?" And she just keeps asking for arsenic. And so he assumes it's for rats, and he places the bottle label on it and gives a prescription for rats. And yet goes off, tells people about it, and he's pretty certain she's going to kill herself, committing suicide by taking this particular poison because her heart's broken and because of the loss of her boyfriend. Nobody knocks at the door. Nobody comes over to see what's going on. Nobody checks on her. Nobody asks. Does it sound all too familiar with our current existing society, where we would much rather post on social media a thought about a person, an opinion, a guesstimate of who they are, what they're going through, what they need, as opposed to actually confronting and talking to them, having a conversation with them, seeking them out and getting to know our neighbors as opposed to knowing them through the process of hearsay and gossip? There's a lesson to be learned from this particular piece, and it teaches us quite simply that it's important to maintain human relationships that are built upon getting to really know an individual, of not approaching people from an arm's length, of not allowing gossip to overrun sensibilities of being uniquely and innately human to our fellow neighbors. Faulkner uses so much wonderful description throughout this piece to paint a beautiful world. You get pulled into it yourself, and you become a member of the community of gossip as you're reading along. because you start sitting there guessing what's going on, guessing what happens. You get to the end of the story, you go tell Miss Emily's story to somebody else, and the morbidity of it and all the possibilities of her sleeping with a corpse and everything that goes with it, not once taking the time probably to think about really what could be going on with a woman that felt so much need for a man in her life, a man to guide her, to give her a pathway because she'd been raised that way, that she would embrace even a dead man to have that need filled. It's a really interesting question and an interesting setup, because we suddenly find ourselves, instead of being sideline viewers of a piece of literature and just readers, and being participants within this community. We ourselves are the gossipers. Think about the posts and all that you're making in the discussion boards at this time. Are you approaching it as somebody that's actually compassionate for Ms. Emily? Are you spreading gossip, rumors, plausibilities, possibilities? How grotesque was she? How questionable her behaviors or motives? Are you looking closer and all to try and actually figure out the woman herself? Do you find yourself wanting to actually reach out and actually be able to talk to her and hear her side of the story? Do you find yourself thinking maybe, just maybe, gossip isn't enough? It's the uniqueness of a Rose for Emily, and it's one of the pieces that makes it absolutely just powerful, not only for a societal piece of reading since 1930, but a piece and all that is absolutely relevant in a society like ours currently, where we are so focused on immediacy and social networking and communications at an arm's length or a text away, that we do not embrace the absolute essence of a person. We don't get to know them. The story is far more interesting than the truth, perhaps. Something to consider as you move forward with the literature than the course. This is just a little bit insight on Rose for Emily. Again, I will be back in another week or so with a couple more videos looking at the next piece of literature in the course. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to email me. I'm happy to answer them. In the meantime, do keep progressing forward, and I will talk to you all next time.